All right, we are going to do a quick export out from Maya. Okay, so in Maya, I have this little silly animation I made of a ball rolling. Okay, so over here I have my little ball, wood surface, and it just rolls across. And then over here, I have my camera view that shows, kind of just pans along with it as it rolls across. It's very, very simple. It's 60 frames long. So I'm going to go here, change that to 60 because it is the length of my animation. 60 frames. Okay, I'm happy with it. I like the way it looks. It's whatever. It's a project to show you. Okay, so I'm happy. I save. Everything looks good. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. I'm going to go to this little icon right here. And that icon is your open render view icon. Okay, so let's open that guy up. Okay. Now, what this is going to show us is it's going to show us what this frame is going to look like when we render out. Okay. Now, I know that this is a refresh for some people, maybe a little new for others, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to go through it step by step to make sure that we understand exactly how to do this, because it can get a little confusing. Okay. So there are two ways that we can render from Maya. One of them is Maya software, where we actually let Maya do the rendering, and then hardware, we let Maya use the computer's hardware to do the rendering. The other one is the Arnold renderer, which is kind of a third-party thing. Do not use Arnold. Arnold's actually great, and it's what you should be using, but our computers are not good enough to handle Arnold. If you click on this, you'll see what I mean, because it'll load very slowly every single frame, and it'll take, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes to load every single frame. It just takes too long. The most important concept to remember or to think about with Maya when exporting out is that it does not export out videos. Maya does not do that. Maya exports out images. It will export out one image per every single frame of your animation. And if you have 1,000 frames, and it says 1,000 right there, or 2,000 or 3,000, it's going to export out that many frames. Okay? Now, and we take every one of these JPEGs that it exports out, and then we just recompile it in Premiere, and it's very simple to do, which I'm going to show you how to do. So I have my image. I see this. Well, that's not the view I want. I want to see what my camera, because ultimately that's what we're going to look at. So I want to render it, and I want to render out my camera. Camera 1. Okay, so that's what my camera is going to look like. And so I look at it. I have this black background, which I wanted. I have the wood, it looks good, color looks good. What I always do is just check to see what software looks like, because you're going to get two different looks to it. And so this is, I'm going to change that to my software, and let's re-render it. Not nearly as nice, blows out the colors of the wood. Ball looks relatively the same. Really, that wood's not responding really well to it. So I'm going to go back to hardware. Like that one much better, does a much better job. Now you may say, yeah, but gosh, I really want the ball to be a little bit more, I want the light to be on it to be much brighter. Well, that's fine. So we kind of go back and forth between Maya here and our renderer right here, and we kind of make whatever change we need to in real time. So if I wanted to, I'm going to choose this light here. Let's up the intensity of it, and I'm just going to go back. Let's re-render this. And maybe that's what you want, right? Or like, no, actually, I really wanted it to be much, much dimmer. I'm looking for something that's really dark and kind of brooding. So I'm going to knock this down quite a lot. And then let's re-render. Okay, I don't like that, but whatever. So I'm going to knock this back up again so we can see it a little bit better. And then we render. So if you need to add some color, add another light, do whatever you need to do here, and then just see what this looks like over here, because ultimately this is what we're getting. Okay, so I'm happy with it. I'm like Maya hardware. It looks good. I got like a little check. I enjoy it. It looks wonderful. So I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I need to first set my project. And what that means is I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Set Project right there. Okay. Now, I told you it's going to export out an image for every single frame. And what we say when we say Set Project is, Maya's wanting to know, well, where do you want all these images to go? And so I'm going to go to Project, whatever your project name is, And I'm going to create a new folder, which is right here, this little yellow icon. And I'm going to call this frames. And let's say that the name of your film was Quantum Quantum Schnauzer. It's getting time. It's like 9:40, guys. I'm out of steam here. Quantum what? Quantum broom. Why broom? Because there's literally a broom sitting right next to me, and I am not creative at the moment. So Quantum Broom is the name of our film, and so I'm going to save it to Quantum Broom. And we're good. Let's check Quantum Broom. Let's open that guy up, and then let's hit set. Okay, and then I'm going to use this as our default workspace. All right, now anything that we do is going to save into that folder that I just created. So that's step number 1. Okay, 2. I'm going to go to Options, and I'm going to go to Render Settings. Okay, which is also right here. This little guy right there. All right, we have some things to do in here. For 1, okay, let's just go down it. And I know this can be a little bit intimidating, but it'll make sense once we go through. Let's start from the beginning up here. So that's all fine. Color management is fine. File output, file name, prefix, whatever. I want to save it out as JPEGs, not PNG files. Let's just change that first. Okay. Now, what I want is I want it to be name hashtag extension. And what that means is it's going to name your file Quantum Broom frame1.jpg, as opposed to this one, which is an idiotic thing, which people confuse it with, which would be Quantum Broom.jpg number 1. We always want the extension, or the .jpg, .mp4, .mov to be at the end. So name, number of frame, extension. Okay. Now what padding is how many frames you have, right? So it wants to know is how many zeros do I need to put in before the 1. So if I have an animation that's 60 frames long, well, I only need 2. So that way it starts off with 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and it'll go all the way up to 99 before it stops. If you have an animation that is hundreds of frames long, then you would need 3. 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, all the way to 999. If you have thousands of frames, you'll need 4, starting off with 0, 0, 0, 1, all the way to 9,999. So you literally just put how many long that the number needs to be for that little hashtag right there, which you'll see in a second. Okay, I'm going to start on frame 1, and I'm going to end on frame. My animation is 60 frames long. And I'm going to animate or export out every single frame. Okay? I'm going to export out the camera. Now, some of you may have actually used multiple cameras. So you may have chosen to use a camera for just one specific shot, but that's the only time I ever use that camera. Well, if you know in your animation, from frame 222 to 298, I only want to use camera number 7. And it'll export out just that one scene or shot that you've done just within that section, right? And so we're going to export all these out individually. So here I'm going to go to 1 to 60 because mine is all done with one camera. The vast majority of you guys will all do it with one camera. In fact, most people who are using multiple cameras have already had this conversation with you, so I'm not going to reiterate. But you can export out whatever section you want of the animation from whatever view you want, no matter how many cameras you have. So I'm going to choose camera 1. Okay. It's good. Camera 1's there. I want to export it out as a HD 1080p high definition. That all looks good. That all looks good. That looks good. Everything looks fine. That looks fine. And so then I'm going to close it. So I'm making certain I'm exporting out all 60 frames as high definition from my camera with 4 paddings as JPEGs. And I'm going to hit close. And I think that we're ready to begin. Once we have everything settled, I'm going to hit this little button right here. That's going to start to render. And that's what it's doing. It's rendering out every single frame, and it's sending every one of these images to the set project location, which is, let's see, right here. Open it. I call it Quantum Broom, and then images, and then camera. There they are. You can see they're still adding, right? So 51, 52, 53, 54, as it's continuing to export out. So it's done. Now, mine was very, very simple. Let me go to this. Mine was very, very simple. I didn't have many images. I only had 60 frames, and there wasn't really a lot in my frames. Notice half of my frame is just black. If I had a background back here with buildings and sky and stuff, well, it's going to take a lot longer to render all that out, right? So if I look at this, I'm going to select all of this. Let's do that, and I'm going to open them up, and then I can kind of like whiz through them because they're images, and I'm just going to see what the animation looks like. Okay, that's it. All right, so I have in here 60 images of that, and you may have hundreds, thousands of images in here. It doesn't matter. It's all good. All is well. Okay, now I'm done with Maya. Maya is no use to me anymore. What I need at this point is good old Premiere, which I'm going to create, cancel negative. I'm going to create a new sequence. And I'm going to make it, I had you guys make it at 30 frames a second in Maya, so I'm going to do high definition, 30 frames, okay. Okay, now I'm going to go, while I'm in Premiere, everything's good, we're going to start compiling our film together, file, import. Now I'm going to go to Quantum Broom. Let's go find that folder. It's going to get a little deep here. There it is. Let's go back one. Camera, options. And I'm going to go to the very first one and hit image sequence and hit import. Now, what it does is it understands when you clicked image sequence that all of the images in that folder are part of one video, exported out from a 3D software mostly. And it recompiles them for you as one video. And there you go. I have taken my 60 frames and allowed my Premiere to do the work of putting them all together in a row for me. That is cool. All right. And I can just bring this thing in like I would any other video into my sequence, add it, cut it, edit it, whatever I want to do with it. So that is exporting out from Maya individual frames and then recomposing them within Premiere, which is a video editing software, which is what it does. Okay, I know that can be a little confusing. There are lots of people in the class. Again, there's in all the classes, there's people who really enjoy 3D animation and kind of like really kind of understand and get it. So if you need help, I beg and implore you and beg of you to ask someone for help. I know there's really great people in this program. They're going to gladly give time to you to make sure that you know what you're doing and feel good. So, okay, that's it. Thanks. Bye.